What's going on, plugins? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to talk about how BYU can have a successful season under Keving Young. Before we get into this video, make sure you drop a like. And if you're new here, sub to the channel and become a part of the family. Now let's get into the video. The college basketball season is about to start soon, and BYU fans are excited to see the team that Keving Young put together. Fans got a glimpse of the team during March Madness. Yegor seems like a fan favorite. The crowd was going crazy for him. Fans are definitely excited to see him play. Cannon Catches and Elijah Crawford show up the athleticism during a dunk contest. BYU fans better be ready for some high-flying plays this season. Overall, it was a great event to show the fans what they have in store for them this season. The expectations for BYU are high this season, and Keving Young was asked about this, and he said he's here to take things to the next level and do something that's never been done at BYU before. So far, he is taking things to the next level. He has a star-studded roster, and he could have multiple players drafted in the first round of the 2025 NBA draft. The last time BYU had a player drafted in the first round was Jimmer Fredette in 2011. He's a BYU legend. So Keving Young has a chance to break the drought and get two players drafted, which will be Yegor and Cannon Catchings, who are projected to be first-round picks. Now let's talk about some things that BYU needs to do to have a great season under Keving Young. The first thing is how quick they can build team chemistry. Keving Young has a mix of returning veterans, highly ranked recruits, and some transfers. If all these players can gel quickly in the beginning of the season, that would be a great thing. He was able to keep a lot of important players on the roster like Dallin Hall and Richie Saunders, who entered the transfer portal but decided to return to the team. They could have easily left and followed Mark Pope to Kentucky, but they decided to stay at BYU and play for Keving Young. BYU has a good amount of veterans on this roster. They're going to be the key to help this team build team chemistry with the freshmen and transfers. So it's good that this roster has a nice balance. It's not a young team. The second thing is getting the most out of your freshmen and international prospects. The most important piece of this team is going to be five-star prospect Yegor. He was the first international prospect that Keving Young added to the roster. He has a lot of hype going into his freshman season. He's the highest ranked recruit in program history, so he has some pressure going into the season. He's going to have to deliver on the hype surrounding his name, and he has the talent to do it. Yegor should be able to impact games in many ways. He's someone who can do everything on the court. He has the potential to be BYU's best scorer and playmaker, and he should be a solid defender and rebounder with his 6'9" frame. He's already getting praise from coaches in practice. They're already calling him a special player. He can do a lot of things with his size. He's an unbelievable passer with great court vision, and he shoots the ball well. So far, he's who we thought he was, an all-around great player. Now, him being a freshman, he has some struggles this season, but if Keving Young can keep his struggles on the court to a minimum and maximize his talent, the sky's the limit for a player like Yegor. Four-star prospect Cannon Catchings should make an impact being a scorer. He's someone who's just a bucket. Y'all feel what I'm saying, plugins? Keving Young should give Cannon Catchings the green light and let him be a scorer. He could be that scoring spark this team needs in games, and when it's crunch time, he needs someone to make a tough shot. Cannon Catchings can turn into that type of player for BYU. Both those freshmen getting off to a hot start in the beginning of the season will be a great sign for BYU. Kadeem and Mihalo, who are international prospects, will be versatile players that have an impact on offense and defense. Mihalo's an intriguing prospect. He's 6'10" with a physical play style, and with his ability to create his own shot and score from the perimeter and how good he is on defense, he could end up being one of the best bigs on the team. Also, the two bigs we were able to get from the transfer portal will bring physicality and toughness to this BYU team. That's something they're going to need to have this season. The third thing is BYU's ability to have multiple lineups. I don't know if people notice, but BYU's roster is deep with players who can play multiple positions. So Keving Young can make a bunch of lineups. He can put a big lineup out there. Most of the players on the roster are over 6'6". He could have a lineup with Yegor and Cannon Catchings in the backcourt, who are both 6'9". That can turn into a matchup nightmare for opposing teams. And he could have a lineup with experienced players and a couple of freshmen. Keving Young hasn't said who's going to start yet and how many players he's going to have in his rotation, but he recently had an interview talking about establishing rotation, saying this: I think one of the big differences, it sounds super obvious, but in the NBA world, there are 4 12-minute quarters, so you get in a pretty clear sub-pattern. That was something I was heavily involved in the NBA world. I felt really comfortable there. Obviously, this is a totally different thing in terms of when the timeouts are, halves, and so forth, so we're trying to map out what our substitution patterns will look like. And he also said this: for me, it's not about the starting 5, but what combination guys are playing, who pairs well with who, lineup combinations, and things like that. So it's going to be interesting to see how the starting lineup will be and how rotations will be. He has a lot of talented players, but he can't play everyone, so we'll see how this plays out when the season starts. Year 1 for Keving Young is important. This is going to set the tone and foundation for the new era at BYU. He has to turn all this hype into wins, because right now it's just hype. The team has to execute on the court. He came from the NBA and has a lot of coaching experience, so this should be an easy transition for him, and he surrounded himself with a good coaching staff. So let's say it takes some time to adjust to the college game. He'll be fine because he has some of the best assistant coaches that can help him on the fly. I'm expecting Keving Young to have a great season in year 1. I got BYU making a deep run in March Madness, so we'll see what happens this season. What are some things you think BYU needs to do to have a successful season? Drop y'all opinions in the comments, drop a like on the video, and sub to the channel. Turn on post notifications so you know when I post. If you want more BYU videos, smash that like button. I appreciate y'all, and I'll see you in the next video. Till next time.